So tonight's video is on settings, video 4.2. At the end of this presentation, you're going to understand a bit more on why setting is so important to a novel and how to fill out the section in your packet for setting. So let's get started. So the novel project packet actually asks that you select at least a minimum of 3 settings. I think there's spaces for 4 or 5, but you have to do at least 3 that are used in your novel to help tell the story. You're going to want to title each setting and use a couple of descriptive words for each, and you could even draw a picture or use a picture from the internet to help add visuals to what the setting looks like in your head. Also, you're going to be asked to include a paragraph explaining why these settings are important. So this is what it looks like in the packet. Basically, the idea is that you're going to go ahead and in the top row that's light blue, just give a name to the setting, and then down below give a description or even draw a picture for the setting. You're also going to have to write the paragraph, don't forget that. So what is the definition of setting? Well, it's basically a place or a type of surrounding where the story takes place. And the setting is so important in stories because it often describes the character and their upbringing. People's actions and the way that they think and decide on things are often determined because they're products of their society or their environments. So what and where they live really does matter. And then it also helps create interest for the reader, and it allows the author to give you clues and hints about what's going to be happening in the story. It also allows the character to interact with their environment. I'm trying to think of a specific example. Like in The Uglies, some of you are reading The Uglies. I think there's a scene where the main character is trying to get to the island, and she's riding on like a hovercraft or something, and she's interacting with the environment in that instance because she's trying to cross over to the island, but there's this, watery scariness happening. I think that's kind of a bad example, but whatever, you get my idea. There's a way to interact and have the setting give you interactions with the characters. Okay, so I thought I'd again use the Veld to kind of give you an example. So I was thinking, as I was reading, thinking about the story, that there were a lot of conversations in the Hadley kitchen and dining room area, and then obviously the nursery, and then there's even the scene where the kids are throwing temper tantrums in like the living room. So I thought I'd use those 3 areas to describe as settings within the story. Basically, you could say the house, but that's where it all takes place. So there's different sections of the house where it's happening. So that's kind of the way I thought to kind of piece it together. So in the kitchen, you see that the stove's cooking food for the family. The dining room table serves for the family. The family has conversations around the dining room table. This is where George is telling the kids that he's thinking about shutting down the nursery, or he's asking the kids what's up with Africa, and the kids flat out lie to his face. So there's some conversations happening there. And then obviously the nursery, like explaining that the walls and the ceiling are interactive. There's odorphonic and sonics, meaning that it's, kind of a virtual reality environment. The lions are a huge part of that piece. The artificial intelligence, because the room can think and react based on what whoever's inside of it are thinking. And then in the end, it kills the nursery, whether it's the house or the room itself, but it kills kills the parents. And then, like I said, in the living room, Peter and Wendy are throwing their temper tantrum when they find out that the house is possibly going to be turned off. And the author kind of goes around and explains all the different electronics and things that are in the living room that later George goes around and turns off one by one. That scene where he talks about the dead corpses of machines in the living room. So hopefully that kind of gives you an idea. Now, I didn't use pictures in this one. I just kind of gave descriptions, but you can use pictures, whether drawn pictures or pictures from the internet, to help. I think the Veld, for example, has, for the nursery, there's lots of good pictures that you could use to describe the setting there. Other things it might be more hand drawn or something if you're looking for pictures. It's not like we necessarily have a automatic rocker chair or a shoe tire or something like what's talked about in the story. Okay, so I wanted to give you an example paragraph on why the setting is important in the story The Veld. So here we go. The setting in the story The Veld is extremely important because the house is both the setting where the story is taking place, but it is also the cause of the family's problems and issues. It also becomes almost another character in the story as Peter and George have conversations with it, trying to get what they want out of the nursery. In the end, the nursery, a room, seems to come to life and eat the parents. The resolution of the conflicts in this story are resolved due to the house. Without the setting, the story couldn't happen at all. So I bring in some ideas and words, academic vocabulary from what we know about the plot line, and also kind of give some personification to the room and describing it, because it definitely does matter so much to the story. Like I said, without this setting, the story couldn't happen. I mean, it is everything to the story. So really be thinking about the different settings and how they are important for the characters and the telling of the story, basically. All right, you're finished. Don't forget to fill in the digital whisk. And if you feel like you know a little bit more about how to do this part in the novel packet, go ahead and take a look at it in Notability. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks.